What is going on, guys? It's KOJOFOREX right here. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 asset classes that when you master, it can change your life from 0 to 100 real quick. So you guys know that as a Forex trader or as a speculative trader, we have so many currency pairs at our will. We can trade currencies, we can trade index, we can trade metals, we can trade literally everything that is tradable on the market. But did you really know that certain currency pairs or certain asset classes are very volatile than others? When I say volatile, I mean that they move a lot. When they are really moving, they can cover some wild pip movement or wild pip ranges when they are really in their element, and some others can really be very dull and very creepy and very slow moving. So imagine that you're a trader that really wants to make money, and then your favorite pair is a pair that is really creepy. Then it means that the only way that you may necessarily be making a lot of money is when you master it so well that you can put a lot of lot sizes on it. But imagine that you also a trader that mastered so well these currency pairs that I'm about to show you that move so wild of a pip movement in a day, in a week. Sometimes it can move as much as 1000 pip, 500 pip, and then you are even trying to use a small lot size. Regardless, you're going to really make a lot of money. So stick with me, watch this video to the end, and before this video ends, not only am I going to mention these 5 wild asset classes to you, but I'm going to break down on the chart how you can take massive advantage of them, master them, and change your life in 2023. Now you guys know that I mastered pound pairs, and when it comes to currency pairs that are very wild, then you don't want to play with the pound pairs. So GBP USD, GBP JPY, GBP CAD, GBP Swiss franc, and Euro GBP are my wild pound pairs that I don't play with. So I actively trade these currency pairs, but these are not the ones that I want to introduce to you. So these pound pairs have trained me to get used to wild movements. In fact, GBP have an average daily pip movement of about 100 to 250, right? So when I talk about average daily pip movement, so many currency pairs have how many pips they're able to travel in a day, in a week, in a month, right? Certain currency pairs, like I already said, they can be very creepy or they can really be moving slowly, so they don't really cover so much of a pip movement. But the pound pairs, they are like these currency pairs, or they are like these asset classes that I'm about to show you. They can sometimes move extremely wild. So what it means is that when you're right and you're in the right position, you can really make a lot of money very quickly. And what it means is that when you're wrong or in the wrong side of the chart, you can lose your money so fast, right? So because of these, generally so many traders try to stay away from these currency pairs that I'm talking about, or so many traders try to stay away from wild currency pair or wild moving pairs. They just want the slow creepy ones, so that even when they're in their loss, they're just going to be, you know, massaging the chart and massaging the losses, and then knowing that they're not really going to be in a deep shit. And then when it's really going in their profit, so they're really going to be just picking up the $2, $10 small chunk of profit along the way. But to tell you the truth, you really want to ball with the big boys, then you really also have to be ready for the wild currency pairs, right? So yeah, I'm not going to bore you with so much talk. Let me mention the 5 asset classes that I want you to master for the year 2023, and it's going to change your life. Number 1 of them is gold, which has the symbol sign of XAUUSD. Number 2 of them is US30, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And then number 3 is the Nasdaq, right? Nasdaq. And then number 4 we have Bitcoin, which is BTC. And then number 5 we have oil. These 5 are extremely wild moving asset classes, and if you're a trader that masters them, then I tell you what, every week you can really be cashing out extremely hard. So let's go right into the chart. Let's play around the chart. Let's see how these asset classes that I've mentioned to you really move on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and how we as a trader, when we master them, we could have been taking insane advantage of it. So yeah, guys, I already mentioned to you that we have 5 asset classes that are extremely volatile, extremely wild, that I want you guys to kind of give a tipsy-tapsy consideration to when it comes to the market. So I already mentioned to you that we have Bitcoin, we have US30, we have Nasdaq, oil, and XAUUSD, as you can see. So this is the chart for Bitcoin as it stands currently, and this is the chart for US30 as it stands currently. This is the chart for Nasdaq. This is the chart for US oil. This one is for gold and the XY, but we ain't considering the XY today, right? So let's focus on the first 5 that I already mentioned to you. Now, I'm sure you're beginning to see certain light in what I'm saying already. Considering asset class like Bitcoin, right? Now you can see that if you're watching my chart, everything you're seeing here is just what happened this week for Bitcoin alone. And then if you watch somewhere here for US30, everything you're also seeing here is what happened this week alone. The same for Nasdaq. Everything you are seeing here is also what happened for this week alone. And then that of oil too, everything we're seeing here is what happened for this week alone. Let's look at XAUUSD. Every movement we're seeing here is what happened for this week alone. For consideration purpose, let's try and measure the pip movement that we can observe for XAUUSD or the other asset classes as well. So XAUUSD, starting from, let's say, the bottom all through to the top, it has already moved 464 pips this week alone. And then let's go to oil too. We can observe that it has also already moved about 650 pips alone this week. Nasdaq, we can also observe that it has also already moved about 680 pips alone this week. Let's look at the US 30. So for US 30 as well, it has also already moved about 1,189 pips, 1,489 pips to put it right. And then for Bitcoin, it has also already moved 1,138. So you guys realize that I wasn't capping when I told you that these asset classes can be insane. They can really move like mad. And then that's why I want us to give them a little bit of a focus. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the same concept that I've taught you over the years to play around with this and then see if you're a trader that kind of intended to give these currency pair that I've showed here that focus, would you have made money or would you have lost money or what would have happened, right? So if you look at, let's say, BTC USD, then how I would have expected you to think about this is, let's say, you know, we're going to employ the Fibonacci 2, right? Why are we going to employ the Fibonacci 2? We can observe that it made this swing movement here and then started crawling, which is a little bit of a retracement, and then we can observe this sharp drive here as well, right? So made that retracement and then a little bit of a movement on the sideways and then that sharp drive, right? So we can measure that perfect fib retracement here like this, right? And then you can see that right here the market also just rejected around the 61.8 with those beautiful candlestick reversal patterns, and then right from there you would have probably want to, you know, take your position anywhere around here, put your stop loss here, and then imagine how this thing flew all the way up into the skies, right? Very beautiful setup that anybody could have taken advantage of. And then let's say your entry was just where I denoted, right? Let's just say that you did take your entry where I just denoted. Then what would have been the pip you would have accumulated here? Then that would have been 1,000 pip. Now the beautiful thing is that just also imagine that for the 1,000 pip you just put on, let's say, 0.1 lot size, right? And then we know that for 0.1 the equivalent in terms of dollar per pip movement is what? $1 per pip movement. So for 1,000 pip movement, then what do you stand to make? You stand to make as much as what? $1,000 from just one movement. So imagine that your lot size was actually 0.2, right? Now this one pertains to the broker, though certain brokers charge a lot when it comes to them, and certain brokers, they are really like, you know, marginal. So you want to test this on a broker's platform before you take this thing as a fact, right? So this is how I would have expected you to approach trading Bitcoin, and that's how you would have accumulated that kind of pip movement. Now I know that a lot of people have problems with holding positions in the market. Like they are wondering, Kojo, how am I going to be able to hold all this trade? People panic at holding 10 pips, 20 pips, you know, that comes to mastery. And then that's how come we train people in terms of our communities and then the courses that I offer. And then also some of the key information that I share in my academy, which is the KOJOFOREX Academy, situated in Ghana in the heart of the city. You can just Google KOJOFOREX Academy and I'm sure that it will appear on the Google Maps and then you can actually locate us anywhere you are in the city, right? So I teach some of these crazy concepts and then teach some of the tactics to become a patient trader and then hold trades for this long in my academy as well, right? Now let's approach US 30 and then see the reasoning we would have used. Now US 30 is a very beautiful one because it coincides with the fundamental that came out just yesterday. So yesterday we had CPI for United States dollar, and then you know that US 30 is the major index that really tells what really goes on in the 30 best stock in the United States. So some way, somehow, it kind of have effect on how the economic metrics play out in the United States. Now you can see that what it's a classic support setup that I've been always teaching you guys. So if you look here, we can clearly see that US 30 made that beautiful mark that I always teach you guys, that let's always focus on the recent lows and see how the market comes back into those recent lows. So look here, you can clearly see what here was the previous resistance. The market pulled up, retraced into that resistance, failed to break that resistance, as you can see from here, and then what happened from there? A huge blast onto the upside. Right now, let's imagine, or let's measure how many pips or how much pips movement that was. Again, we have done that already. That was 1,400 pip movement. So in a scenario like this, considering the kind of reversal patterns that I teach to my inner circle, you would have likely had your entry here if you're a trader that likes to jump in a little bit earlier, which is the little bit more exposed one, or the risky entry people, and then the less riskier entries would have their entry somewhere. So let's say all of us are less riskier entry traders. So we take our entry here, put stop loss right beneath the range like that, risking just a little bit, and then the risk to reward is insane. So this is actually 1:12 risk to reward setup just by following a beautiful concept like this, right? So we see how powerful some simple concept like this can give us huge peak movement when we are focusing on wild volatile pairs like I've already taught you, right? So yeah, that's how I would approach a pair like US 30. I wouldn't have seen Nasdaq anywhere different from US 30. They kind of move together. So what it means is that when you can anticipate that Nasdaq or US 30 is going to be bullish, you should pretty much align the same thought with Nasdaq as well. So thinking that US 30 was already playing on that support level, and then Nasdaq, I'd already be thinking already be positioned biased with a bullish movement. But nonetheless, the concept or the setups were different, but the concepts were pretty much the same. What it means is that even though US 30 was sitting perfectly on a support level, Nasdaq was also sitting perfectly on a Fibonacci level. Here again, we can consider what the 1.8 retracement level, and then a huge blast through for Nasdaq. So again, we would have our entry just a little bit around here, stop loss right beneath the range for risky traders or risky entry traders, and then the fundamental just, you know, entices the whole movement and makes it even much more better, right? So that's a whole simple breakdown for Nasdaq as well. And then let's look at oil. So for oil, what it's been doing is it's just been trading sideways, right? Pretty much trading sideways, and then in that kind of a downtrend. So what we observe here is that anytime the market pushes down, then it begins to rally up in sort of a retracement here. So what I mean is that if you watch here, so this is like a range. Anytime you have oil push down, then we have what? A retracement, then we have a push down, a pullback, push down, a pullback, push down, a pullback, and again we have a push down and a pullback, right? Now for a scenario like this, what I particularly would want to see is that are we reacting in a previous support level, or are we reacting in the key area? And then what I'll do is I'll go back into the chart and then want to see signs and signals like that. So the moment I don't find anything key, just like this right now, I don't really find anything primary to that reaction that oil had there. So there's likelihood that I wouldn't have any reason to want to go long in oil here, right? So you must understand that there's not every market opportunity that's just going to make sense to you as a trader for you to say, okay, I'm going to buy here because I saw this, I'm going to sell here because I saw this. Genuinely, I don't see any reason to have jumped in. So I can clearly say that for an asset class like oil, I would have definitely missed every move here. But hey, we already made a lot of money on Nasdaq, on US 30, and on BTC. So why cry about a few pips that we missed on oil as well? Now let's go to gold and see. So for gold in particular, what happened with it is that it's pretty much been crawling the whole of this week, right? And then what happened is that even though it was crawling, it made its way into a very beautiful Fibonacci region. But the truth of the matter is that this Fib region was exactly where this market was stuck for the whole of the rest of the day, or pretty much the week, before that CPI news came out. And then that CPI is actually what drove this one all the way up there like that. So likelihood that if you're not a fundamental trader, or if you're not a trader that likes to trade during fundamental events, you sit on the side and watch this go away, is very high. So I wouldn't say that we would have been able to technically catch a trade on XAU USD. Nonetheless, what is beautiful to see is that it also moved in a huge pip movement, and that counts for why we must consider it as one of our wild pairs to trade. Yeah guys, so this brings me to an end of this very interesting video. If you love this video, if you love this breakdown, you want me to introduce more of these type of secret currency pairs or secret asset classes that are trade on the low and make a lot of money from, and then you want to smash the like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already, click in the link in the description. Very important to join the KOJOFOREX Telegram community. Sign up with my recommended broker, which is XNES, the #1 broker, leading broker in the world, and then follow me on all social media at KOJOFOREX. If you're in Ghana or any part of the sub-Saharan region, then you also want to make sure to visit the KOJOFOREX Academy. It's my new academy that I teach people in person how to trade the financial market, and then you really want to be a part of it to gain insane experience with me. So without wasting much time, I hope you guys really did enjoy this content. I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.